it's Bill, and today I'm going to make my new and improved corn chowder. So sometimes when I make soups, chowders, whatever, stews, I always say, oh, you know, it's kind of like whatever's in the fridge. So this is a more specific, and I'm going to kind of go through all the details. So first off, I bought 1.5 pounds of those really small red potatoes. And you want to cut them in half, and then each half you want to quarter. Because remember, this is a soup, a chowder, so we don't want these, you know, big old potatoes in there. Basically, I want to get the lid off. I've been simmering it for about 20 minutes, and these potatoes are nice and soft. They're just starting to kind of split up like you would see baked potatoes do, or I mean mashed potatoes. And let me just check to make sure. So you just want enough water to kind of cover these. So it's always like 3 to 4 cups depending. This actually was like 3 1/4 cups for these. Okay. I want to kind of let these, I'm taking the lid off because it's going to help lower the temperature. You know, pressure increases temperature. Just want to get them to some kind of reasonable, I mean it's still bubbling in here, okay? So next what I have, I have kind of the veggies. And I like clear bowls because you can kind of gives you a visual. So I bought some carrot sticks because we had chicken wings. Oh look, potatoes are done. We had chicken wings, and I always have to have carrot sticks with my ranch dressing, okay? And I also had some celery sticks, and I also have basically half of a ginormous yellow onion, a sweet onion, and then a red bell pepper. You can use green if you prefer. I like the flavor of red. So basically I want to start dumping this stuff in here. Getting everything back up to some kind of temperature. So I keep the, I cook the bacon and leave it in the fridge. It's kind of leftovers because I was making turkey bacon sandwiches, you know. And then right before this morning I took it out. I microwaved it in some paper towels so I can get a little extra crunchy and cut it up into pieces. And this is real bacon, like from the butcher. It's not stuff that you get in the grocery store, you know. And it just tastes so much better. So immediately, I'm like, oh, there's not enough liquid in here, right? Well, that's true. So I had a lot of cold stuff right there, so I'm going to let this, I can already hear it coming back to a nice rolling boil. Alright, so what I need to do is I need to add a pint of my favorite half and half. Ooh. I just want to get everything back to a nice warm temperature from being refrigerated. Let's just stir this up, see how it looks. Looks lovely. Okay, so while that's becoming happy and getting back up to some kind of temperature, and we just want a little simmer, I don't want it boiling. I need some thickening agent, right? So what I need to do is, bright and early this morning, I got out 3 tablespoons of butter. Okay, this is a French thing. We're making what's called a beurre manie. If you want to remember it, it's beurre manie. And basically, it's always going to be equal parts butter and flour, but the butter has to be room temperature. So I got 3 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. Now you can always have more butter, but if you have too much flour, if you try and do like 4 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of butter, it ain't gonna work because the flour's not going to have enough room to mix in. This is a really cool and easy, down and dirty, tricky way to make a roux. So I'm going to go 1, 2. And see, I'm really measuring for you. So you see, I really do have measuring spoons. And that one's a little short, so I just need to put just a hair more in. And I always try and be a little extra generous on the butter, just in case. Plus it makes it easier. Alright, so what do? Take my fork, and I just start mushing. Just kind of mixing. And this butter is really soft. Yeah, a little too close to the stove. Keeping an eye on my chowder over here. It's looking pretty darn good. So you're going to find in no time at all the flour's getting gobbled up by the butter. This is an absolute perfect way to make sure that you don't have lumps. Nothing worse than lumps of flour. So if you're not sure, you can always make too much and add it as you need it. And be like, oh, this is easy. And once you've done this a few times, you'll be a pro, trust me. This is something I kind of forgot about. I've realized how many times I could have used it to just really simplify my life. So it really comes out almost like frosting consistency. Anyway, let's see how this looks. If you're not sure about temperature, don't stick your finger in the pot, but what you can do, ooh, that's toasty. Just a little hotter. Now remember, stews, chilies, I don't care what you're talking about. Anything like this, it's always better the next day. So I like to get this stuff cooked up. I mean, it's really impressive to show your friends, but you know, it's so beautiful to do this up. Hey, throw it and cool it down, throw it in the fridge. And you know how to cool down your soups, especially your cream soups, so they don't get in that danger zone. Fill your sink with water and ice. Set it in the pot in there. Make sure it's not too much that like gets icy water in the pot. But and of course you can't do that like straight off the heat. You gotta set it aside, give it a few minutes. But you know, in the restaurant they used to force us to like quick chill soups all the time. It really ruins them. But you don't want, you know, all this stuff sitting in the danger zone, as they call it. So while I'm watching this just start to boil, and you have to have patience, I'm going to put in a bay leaf, because you got to have bay leaf. This is a kind of a northern chowder thing, right? So I need to get some pepper in here. And you know, everyone's like, why do you have your pepper grinder sideways? Hey, guess what? I don't want to get all the steam up there and clogging it up. And this thing's old as it is, so let's be gentle. It looks good. I see action in here, so I know I'm doing good. And the same thing is going to go. So I knew I needed about a quarter teaspoon of paprika. Once again, if I shake my paprika, steam gets in there and it's going to clump and I'm going to ruin it. So I'm just going to put about, most of it went in there. Let's get a little stirring action going on. It smells really good. It's really going to be a really happy soup. And I've made this before, I know, but long time ago. And I made it so many times since. I'm like, hey, let's redo this because this is a much more like accurate way. Okay, so let's start out with my burn my knee. I take a big huge dollop. Take another one. Let's start the process. Let's just, whoops. Let's get that stuff just mixed in. Ooh, lovely. Remember, we had half and half, and we had 3 cups of water. So, you know, the 2 cups of half and half. So really, this isn't going to be an overly thick, and we don't want. I hate when you go to a restaurant and the soup, it's like Jello consistency. I mean, pudding or something. I don't want that. You know, I want to really. I want it to be good. I don't want it to taste like all flour. And I know that's just a down and dirty, easy way to make soups, cream soups, but this is the right way. Now it's nice and toasty. It's going to come right off the spoon. Look at that. Forks don't work in these bowls as well, so I'm going to take a spoon, my big wooden spoon. And so, if you think about it, I'm just really adding 3 tablespoons of flour. It's not a whole lot. This is a big old pot of chowder. So now what do I need to do? Set that out of the way. That's what I need to do. Alright, so now what we need to do is I want to give this about 10 to 15 minutes of cook time. Everything's nice and toasty. I got a nice steaming thing going on here. It's not bubbling. I don't want to do that, especially because we're really just trying to, in the infancy of getting this to thicken up. I don't know why it is. Every time I'm recording a video, I splash something right there in my glasses so I can't see it. Good thing I have these recipes memorized, or I'd be really in trouble. I just think this is such a cool way to make a really fantastic chowder. And you can add other things in here too. You know, I mean, this is a good base. And I like the smokiness of the bacon, but if you so desire, and you want to impress your friends, cut up some shrimp, put some shrimp in here. Just cook it in here at the last minute. You know, don't cook it in here for an hour. Chunks of ham, chunks of turkey, if you have leftover from Thanksgiving, right? You can do just about anything. So, this is really starting to thicken and gather some steam. So I'm going to give it about 10 minutes. And you can always tell when the soup's starting to thicken because you're going to get that kind of shine and thickness on the back of the spoon. Wow, that tastes really good. Wow. Yeah. I'll have to demonstrate that again. But you can see you've got just a little bit of texture in here. Plus, don't forget when we cook the look how beautiful that is. You can see my finger wiped it. And don't forget we cooked a lot. There's a lot of starch in here from the potatoes that cooked out. So that's a natural thickener. So like I said, I really think you need to, when you see ingredients that, you know, call for huge amounts of flour, it's probably not going to be as great. And when this is done, I'm going to show you what you want the consistency to be like. So we're going to give this like 10 minutes cook time. I just got kind of steam rising here. I don't have any boiling, okay? So let's try that. I'll be back in 10. Alright, I just turned this soup down. It was getting a little feisty. Just starting to see some bubbles coming through. So I wanted to stir it. I got it on low. Still pretty feisty. So the 10 minutes is up. Everything is nice and fork tender. Of course I sampled it, right? Love the potatoes. Everything turned out beautiful. So I keep saying this is corn chowder, right? Well, I don't want to cook the corn chowder to death. And I use frozen. I'll be perfectly honest. You know, for your frozen vegetables, they're, you know, picked at their peak and flash frozen, and you can't get much better. Except for now, I have a hard time finding like real frozen vegetables. Everything's in a steam bag or whatever. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna get this in here. And I have had these out this morning, so they're essential. They're cold, but they're thawed. So let's just stir that in. If you know me, I go on the hunt for bay leaf. Oh, there it is. I think if you leave bay leaf in forever, it kind of takes away from it. I just want that freshness in the beginning. I probably say it like every video, right? Ooh. So we still have texture all the way around. So I know that when I reheat it, it's still going to be good. It's not going to be all mush. You know, if you overcook your soups and stuff lots of times, you might as well just take an immersion blender, you know, make nursing home food out of it, because you got to have some kind of feeling, you know, some kind of texture, some kind of yin and yang in there. So I want to see the consistency of this. So I mean, it also shows you really well on metal spoon how, see how beautiful and creamy. Oh, I'll just sit here, lick the spoon, okay? But honestly, this is a beautiful, maybe a little smear here, a little drip down the side. Very simple. So what would I do with it? Well, I still have more turkey. I'm still going to make more turkey bacon ranch sandwiches, or whatever you call it, like avocado. So you can always have a nice little cup or small bowl with a sandwich. You can split a sandwich if the sandwiches are big, and have a bowl, bigger bowl. But there's a few good meals sitting in here. You saw it really wasn't that difficult to put together. And yeah, if you don't try this, you're really missing out. And like I said, I know I made it in the beginning, you know, 20 years ago. That was, you know, when YouTube was called iTube, because there was only one person, and that was me. Okay, I started it. Just kidding. Anyway, thank you. You guys are so dedicated to me. I really appreciate it. I do get requests I'm working on. Got some things in the works. Got lots of good recipes. I got to kind of dial in, because I've said this before, but you know, my style of cooking is this, that, that, and when I have to sit down and really break it down and think about quantities, it takes me a minute. That's why I like, you know, like I showed you, the bowls, the clear bowls, all the same size. So if you want equal parts, so I was shooting for about a cup of each, a little more than a cup. It just makes it easier. Because when someone says, 1 onion. Chop 1 onion. I've seen onions this big, I've seen onions this big, so which is it, right? Carrots. Carrot this fat, carrot this skinny. You know, so you gotta have some kind of measurement. The only thing I wanted to match it to was the red pepper, because I want to use the whole red pepper. Anyway, I didn't tell you it was half a bag of corn, but that's always in the recipe, right? Hope you try this, hope you enjoy it. I want everyone to have a great day. Holidays are really fun, and try my recipes. Comment, tell me what you want, don't want, and I'll see you next time with a great recipe.